destroys terrorist hideouts in Dar'a and Hasaka countrysides as heavy losses are inflicted on al-Nusra terrorists in Homs and Quneitra provinces. The Yemeni army intercepts the first Saudi land incursion into Harda province opposite the Saudi Al-Tawil border point. 4,000 food parcels are to be distributed in Mu'addamiyat al-Sham. Good afternoon, this is News in English from the Syrian television in Damascus. We start with our field developments, and in Homs suburbs in central Syria, an army unit has foiled an ISIL terrorist attack in As-Sammat district and Al-Bayda village near Palmyra. The Syrian Air Force also targeted terrorist gatherings, eliminated many of them, and destroyed their vehicles in Latakia countryside. A Syrian Arab army unit has intercepted a terrorist group that tried to infiltrate into a military checkpoint in the direction of Al-Ahrak countryside in Dar'a in southern Syria, killing and wounding several members of the group, including some of their leaders. Among the killed, Sa'il al-Shara was identified. Also in Dar'a suburbs, 3 vehicles belonging to the terrorist organization were destroyed during intensive operations carried out against terrorist hideouts and the lines of supplies coming to the terrorists from Jordan. Heavy losses were also inflicted on Nusra terrorist organization in Al-Karak and Al-Ghaliya. A vehicle loaded with arms and ammunition was meanwhile destroyed, and the terrorists therein were killed in Al-Sad road. In Quneitra countryside, machine gun provided vehicle and a mortar gun podium belonging to Al-Nusra front was also destroyed in Al-Hamidiyya and Mashara villages. Going to the northeast of Syria in Hasaka, maintenance workshops belonging to Al-Hasaki Governorate and Al-Hasaki General Electricity Company started their operations to repair power line 66 connecting the main power station with the power branch in Al-Hasaka city, which had been earlier damaged due to ISIL attacks. The Lebanese national resistance has continued to advance in Arsal prairies, taking control of Al-Turkman, Al-Qasir, Al-Harika, At-Tnain, and Uqbat Al-Qasira valleys. In this way, the Syrian Arab Army has thus liberated 512 square kilometers of land out of 800, that is 64% of the area occupied by ISIL and the Nusra Front in Al-Qalamun and Lebanon's eastern mountainous chains. Moving to Yemen, where the Yemeni army and the People's Committee succeeded in destroying a Saudi tank and damaged another by bombarding the Saudi military site of Al-Amud. Meanwhile, the Saudi airstrikes continued on different parts of Yemen, killing 3 women in Moran village in Sada Governorate. The artillery of the Saudi regime had earlier bombarded Wadi Abdullah area and the ancient city of Harad on the Yemeni-Saudi border. Participants in the spiritual meeting held by the Patriarchs of Antioch and the Maryamic Cathedral in Damascus have affirmed their adherence to Syria's unity and the right of its people to live in safety, freedom and dignity. They called on the world to work earnestly to find a political solution to the war in the country. The final communique of the meeting has also called for the Christians to be united and to pray for the sake of this unity, urging them to serve the poor and pray in order for peace to prevail in Syria. The statement also called on the world community to shoulder its responsibility in stopping wars on the Syrian soil and to find a peaceful and political solution for present conflicts. The 5 Antioch Patriarchs had performed prayers for the sake of peace in Syria following their spiritual meeting in the Maryamic Cathedral in Damascus. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Stay with us, the latest in the world of business and market news with Nariman, but after a short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Members of the People's Assembly asked the government to reduce the prices in Ramadan and provide a grant to employees to help them cope with the high prices. The members of the People's Assembly also asserted the importance of improving the government performance, demanding to provide compensations to the citizens who are affected by the crisis. They underlined the importance of fighting corruption and bringing wrongdoers to account. Damascus countryside governorate, in cooperation with the Syrian Arab Red Crescent, began the distribution of 1,500 food baskets to locals in Mu'addamiyat al-Sham. 4,000 food packages are planned to be distributed in the coming 4 days. A number of the city's residents who received the food expressed their appreciation for this move, hoping more packages would be distributed in the future due to their difficult living conditions. Speaking to reporters, head of Mu'addamiyat Sham City Council Bassam Karbouj said that the packages would be distributed under the supervision of the National Reconciliation Committee, pointing out that 3,000 packages were distributed in Mu'addamiyah earlier and 4,000 will be distributed to the families in the city. The Minister of the Domestic Trade has demanded the positive intervention establishments to supply a wide variety of goods and foodstuffs in the sales outlets to meet the demands of the consumers at affordable prices during the holy month of Ramadan. He also stressed the need that the food commodities and the clothes be the products of both the public and private sectors. Moreover, the minister asked the ministries of agriculture and industry to provide sufficient quantities of foodstuff and several commodities of their own production at competitive prices. As part of cooperation between the Syrian Commission for Family Affairs and the United Nations Population Fund, a workshop was held with the participation of various parties, including the Ministry of Education and the Higher Institute for Population Research. More in the following.
The problems of young people during the current period and the National Action Plan to involve them in the reconstruction process, as well as finding solutions to their problems, were the most important topics discussed by the participants in the workshop, which was organized by the Syrian Commission for Family Affairs under the title Priorities of Work on the File of Young People Under the Current Circumstances. The workshop also included presentations on the recommendations of the International Conference on Population and Development for the period that follows last year with regard to subjects that concern youth. Empowering young people in order to play their role in development requires their participation in development projects and plans of the civil and governmental societies and institutions.
The Central Bank of Syria has exclusively allowed exporters to pay the funds due to their undertakings to return to the bank the foreign currency from their export operations. The Central Bank has also pointed to the need to comply with the regulations and rules set by the Central Bank to prevent inflowing more than $100,000 US, noting the importance of presenting the required documents to the Customs Secretariat. The main indicator of the Turkish stock declined 8% after the governing Justice and Development Party has failed to win a majority in the parliamentary elections, which raises investors' concerns over the possibility of forming a minority or coalition government. On the other hand, the Turkish lira fell to a low record of 2.8 per dollar, while yield on the benchmark bond has climbed for 10 years to reach 9.98 from 9.32% on Friday. A decline in commodity producers helped send the European stocks down for a 6th day. China's stocks also fell from a 7-year high, led by industrial and financial companies, after inflation data signaled weaker demand. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our economic news for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.